Again, thank you for being here. Let's stand tall, let your voice rise, and let your joy shake these streets. Let's begin. All right, first up we have Gio, someone who's been holding down 5051 since day one. Let's make some noise.
Here, but it's not on the section, please.
Okay. All right, I'm on my way. I want to give one shot here.
Hello, Chicago. My name is Mikey Borgard, and I'm here on behalf of 5051. That's 50 states, 50 protests, one movement. I'm here as a trans person, as a disabled person, as a brother, as a son, as a friend, a partner, a teacher, a writer, an activist. Equity and justice and people of this nation have always known that we will not just survive, we will thrive. We celebrate who we are and we resist anyone who wants to take that from us. Let me tell you something, Chicago. This fight is still
out plates of food, giving bed sheets and sheets to the people who needed them. Fast forward when I became a father, and that instinct deeply. My son Romeo, who's over here, shout out to him. When he was 5, he asked me, why are there people on the streets and what can we do to help them? That was more than just childish curiosity. It was a call to action. What can we do to help them? And we answered it. We packaged care bags, we had them out in our neighborhoods, we invited others to join, and they did. Because mutual aid attracts people. It invites people to something real, something purposeful. Later on, Romeo noticed that after the return to school during the pandemic, there weren't any safe spaces that were free to young people to just be themselves. So we took it upon ourselves to create it, and we created a basketball tournament. People came, neighbors donated snacks, drinks, vendors donated jerseys, kids played, adults stayed, and that's what mutual aid is. Not just helping, but building together. From there, Peace and Pilsen became more than just sports. It grew into open mics, movie nights, video games, first time trips to art shows for people. No grants, no sponsors, just belief in each other. That's the magic of mutual aid. It feeds the body and the soul. It reminds us that we deserve joy, not just survival. Congresswoman AOC recently said, we must acknowledge the terrifying moment that we're in right now. And she's right. We're up against climate collapse, fascist violence, housing crisis, and disconnection. But we must remember that acknowledgement is not surrender. Revolutionary optimism doesn't mean pretending that everything is fine. It means that when everything is terrifying, we act. We create and we take care of each other. Because who keeps us safe? We don't need to organize out of despair. We organize out of possibility. Mutual aid can create something, you can create something small or something big. Making extra food for a neighbor, helping someone pay rent or housing, hosting a coat drive, sharing knowledge, creating joy, free spaces where people feel seen, much like today. You don't need an organization, you don't need permission, you just need heart, belief, and the belief that everyone here is worth showing up for. So here's my invitation. Join a mutual aid group or effort, and if you see a gap, create one. I invite you to follow us on Instagram on Peace and Pilsen, and show up. Show up for each other, show up when it's hard, show up when no one's watching, because mutual aid is not a trend. It is a return to indigeneity. It is the way that we grew up with the belief of sharing is caring. And it shows the people in power that our power, the power of the people, is always going to be greater than theirs. All power to the people.
Let's hear it for Leo one more time. We love Peace and Pilsen. We love mutual aid here at 5051. Just a reminder, if you brought food to donate, it's behind you by the trees. Thank you. I'm so glad you all are here. The next speaker is Nazit Sankari. She carries the voice of global resistance from the streets of Chicago to the fight for Palestine. Please welcome Daley.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Nazik Sekari, co-chair of the Chicago chapter of the U.S. Palestinian Community Network, and I'm here to denounce the racist Trump and his racist anti-immigrant and migrant white supremacist agenda. We denounce the rabid witch hunts conducted by the white supremacist administration as they are trying to make an example out of Mahmoud Khalil and other students for their support for a free Palestine. The administration is overreaching their power with impunity as they are attempting to intimidate and fracture our movements by sending plainclothes ICE agents to kidnap and disappear international students and strip them of their visas. In Illinois alone, dozens of students have had their visas stripped from their universities. Say that ain't right. We're seeing the Department of Homeland Security enabling policies to screen the social media accounts of international students and others applying to immigrate to the U.S. for quote-unquote anti-Semitic content. But we know that this is a shameful attack on the Palestinian liberation movement and pathetic attempt to censor the free speech of our movements and the student movements and any criticism of the racist state of Israel and the complicity of the U.S. in funding and aiding and supplying the ongoing genocide. These issues did not start with Trump. Joe Biden bankrolled the Israeli genocide on the Palestinians by sending at least $7.9 billion in military aid in the first year of the genocide. Israel has dropped over 85,000 tons of bombs on homes, hospitals, churches, and entire neighborhoods. And the same white supremacist forces waging a genocide in Gaza and attacks and raids in the West Bank are here in the U.S. waging war against the immigrants and refugees through threats of deportation. The same companies that surveil the illegal apartheid wall in occupied Palestine surveil and occupy the southern border. The Israeli weapons manufacturer Elbit Systems expanded more than 450 surveillance towers as part of a virtual wall under the Biden administration. This technology has forced more migrants into dangerous and desolate terrains as they risk their lives crossing the border. These immigrant and asylum seekers, which the white supremacists and the right are demonizing as violent threats to our community, are in fact fleeing dangerous conditions in their home countries, often caused by U.S. intervention and foreign policy, including sanctions and war. The true threat to our communities is not our new neighbors. It is not those fighting for justice and liberation of Palestine or any other boogeyman that the racist Trump agenda has identified. The real threat is those that kidnap people and deport them with no due process. Those who fund and support genocide. Those who steal wages and exploit workers. Those who commit insurance and medical fraud. Those who poison our food and our environment. We refuse to be intimidated and we will not be silent. We are uplifted by the steadfastness of our people in Gaza, surviving the most vicious occupation and genocide, and they inspire us to continue to fight and demand an immediate arms embargo, an end to the U.S. aid to Israel, the immediate release of Mahmoud Khalil and all other student activists that have disappeared, and all deportations. That is why USPCN is fighting as part of the broad coalition against the Trump agenda, Thursday, May 1st, in Union Park at 11, to rise and protect immigrants and all of our movements, and we'll rally again on Saturday in Union Park, May 3rd, at 12 p.m.
are welcome here.
Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here.
Love this energy, Chicago. Next up, we got Tessa Bonnie. And joy cannot exist without dignity. And dignity starts right here. Our next speaker is a public health researcher, educator, and labor rights fighter. Welcome to Dr. Tessa Bonnie.
Good afternoon to the resistance. My name is Tessa Bonnie, and I'm a faculty member at the University of Illinois Chicago School of Public Health. I stand before you today as a public health scientist, an educator, and like all of you, someone who believes deeply in the power of community, of justice, and of joy. Because joy is resistance. And for those of us who are working in public health, we know that fighting for safe housing, clean air and water, accessible care, and fair working conditions isn't just about data or disease. It's about building the conditions for people to live full and joyful lives. Public health is our shared promise that we will care for each other, protect each other, and invest in a future where all of us, not just the billionaires, can thrive. The reason our neighborhoods have clean drinking water, the reason our kids get vaccinated and grow up strong, the reason we even understand the links between pollution, stress, and disease is because science has been well-resourced, protected, and shared. That's public health at its best. But right now, that promise is under attack. When officials censor scientists, cut funding, and try to erase the truth, we don't just lose research, we lose lives. And we lose the kind of future we are here to fight for, a joyful one. We see it in the attacks on research into HIV prevention, diabetes, and environmental toxins. We see it when they try to dismantle diversity, equity, and inclusion in our institutions, as if erasing identities and perspectives could ever lead to better health. And the future of science depends on who gets to be in the room, who gets to ask the questions, and who is heard when they speak. Woo-hoo! That is why we are here, because joy is not passive. It is bold, it is radical, and it is a refusal to accept a world where the most vulnerable are forgotten. Joy is the child whose asthma is no longer triggered by diesel fumes outside of their school. Joy is the worker who finally gets paid sick leave and doesn't have to choose between a paycheck and their health. Joy is the scientist who sees their research save lives in the very community they came from. As they come for our funding, our data, and our rights, we will meet them with facts, with community, and with a vision of health and justice too powerful to be denied. We stand for truth. We stand for the next generation of public health leaders. And we stand for joy as resistance.
Give it up for Tessa! No kings, no tyrants, we will not be silent. No kings, no tyrants, we will not be silent. No kings, no tyrants, we will not be silent. No kings, no tyrants, we will not be silent. Yeah!
When they come for one of us, all of us need to stand up and fight back. Stand up, fight back! Stand up, fight back! And I'm not just imagining things here. There are many historical examples of working at a great people right here in Chicago, fighting against oppression and winning through their solidarity. Whether it's Ronald Reagan, Donald Trump, or Ron Goddamn Emanuel, we have practiced in beating the racist, xenophobic, corporate agenda that takes from the poor and gives to the rich. Solidarity is how our Arab siblings shut down O'Hare Airport to stop the Muslim ban during the first Trump administration. Solidarity is how the Chicago Alliance won the most democratic police accountability legislation in the country back in 2021. Solidarity is how the Chicago Teachers Union got a contract that prevents federal agents from targeting students at school. But like I said, there's a lot that we're still fighting for, and we're going to need solidarity to defend all of our communities against the Trump agenda. We still need solidarity to stop deportations, to end mass incarceration and racist policing, to end the occupation of Palestine, to ensure that people can live free and with the resources their communities deserve. And that's why all the organizations I've mentioned today and dozens more are joining the Consejo de Resistencia on May 1st, International Workers' Day at Union Park. We are saying no more deportations, no more attacks on immigrants or any other oppressed group. That's why students across the city are walking out of school on May 2nd, and the Coalition Against the Trump Agenda is organizing a black and brown solidarity rally in Union Park on May 3rd. I need to see each and every one of you in Union Park on May 3rd. Bring your friends, bring your family, bring your co-workers, bring your boss if you can, and get involved in this movement. Join an organization. We're not just here just to show our faces and look at each other. We are here to fight, and we know that it's a long-term fight, but when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win! Now I'm just going to end it with one more chant. The people united will never be defeated!
The people united will never be defeated!
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido!
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido!
Thank you. Keep fighting for the win. One more time. No fear, no hate, no ice in our state.
No fear, no hate, no ice in our state! No fear, no hate, no ice in our state!
Alright, next we have Daley. Abortion is healthcare. Our next speaker, she knows that, and organizes like hell to defend it. In Chicago for abortion rights, welcome Ann Rumberger.
Hi, my name is Ann and I'm with Chicago for abortion rights. Resistance is everywhere in Trump's America. I want to tell you what that resistance looks like in the reproductive freedom movement. Yes, things are bad. Pregnant people are dying because doctors are afraid to provide emergency abortion care and miscarriage care in states with strict abortion bans. In Alabama, providers face up to 99 years in prison for violating the total abortion ban. 11 states so far in 2025 have introduced equal protection bills that would punish abortion patients as murderers. None of these bills have passed yet, and we can't let them. Across the country, maternal and fetal mortality rates are rising, especially in places like Texas, where abortion has been restricted since 2021. There was a 56% rise in maternal mortality in Texas from 2019 to 2022. 56%! And we all know the tragic story of Amber Thurman, a 28-year-old mother who died after she couldn't access legal abortion care in Georgia. Others, like Brittany Watts in Ohio and Selena Maria Chandler Scott in Georgia, were arrested for having miscarriages. The criminalization of pregnancy, especially for women of color, is getting more severe. We know this is not about protecting women or children, it is about control. It's about misogyny. It's about punishing women who don't conform to mythical traditional gender norms. It is up to us to scream and shout and protest and make it known that we are paying attention and we will not let anyone else be harmed by barbaric abortion bans. Anti-abortion extremists are doing everything they can to restrict health care for millions. They are enshrining fetal personhood into state and federal laws, intent on giving legal rights to embryos and fetuses, regardless of the devastating consequences for pregnant people. And yet, even with this repression, many of us are resisting, organizing, and finding creative alternatives to help each other access care. The number of abortions has actually increased since Roe was overturned in 2022. That's because of the dedication of providers and activists, abortion funds, and hotline volunteers who are working so hard to make sure people get the care they need and deserve. It's because abortion pills are available to order online in all 50 states. Just in case you need them later, you can do that. If you need help with the cost and logistics, your local abortion fund, like our own Chicago Abortion Fund, is here to help you. Forcing people to be pregnant against their will is unacceptable. Cutting off support and making it beyond difficult to have and care for children is also unacceptable. The world we want is full of freedom and care for all of us, from the USA to Palestine. We demand that everyone have access to health care, child care, and elder care. We demand that we have the time and the resources to live full, meaningful lives with whoever we want our families to be. We will continue to take care of each other, no matter what laws are passed or what the Supreme Court rules are our rights. You are not alone in this fight. We are using our collective rage and turning it into collective action. Everyone here is doing their part to build that better world, and we are determined to win.
Women's rights are human rights. Women's rights are human rights.
Women's rights are human rights.
Women's rights are human rights.
Women's rights are human rights.
Amazing Chicago. Our next speaker, Tariq Khalil. He brings legal firepower and lived truth. A human rights attorney and longtime activist speaking for the Chicago Coalition for Justice in Palestine. Show some love for Tariq.
They hate this chant. Let's go. From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
Chicago didn't hear you. Try that again. From Gaza is the soul of Palestine. Gaza breathes life to all marginalized communities all over the world. Gaza is at the base of our struggle today in the United States. Gaza is the reason why we've been out week after week exposing Western hypocrisy, exposing media hypocrisy, exposing the hypocrisy of our politicians, our governments. It did not start with Trump's fascism. It did not start with Genocide Joe. Gaza represents something a lot deeper that we don't understand. The departure point of every media outlet's analysis has been October 7th. We don't understand October 6th. October 6th represents 143 years of the settler colonial regime. It represents 77 years of dispossession, ethnic cleansing, forcible displacement, land theft, denial of basic rights under international law, denial of self-determination for the indigenous Palestinians. Gaza represents 58 years of a brutal military occupation, 17 years of a brutal siege and blockade that has decimated the lives of Palestinians. Israel had a grip on Gaza long before, denying them basic sustenance, putting them on a diet. Dov Weissless, a former minister in the Israeli government, said, "We will put the Palestinians on the diet, but not make them die of hunger." Shame. We will. Shame. For years, Israel put Palestinians in Gaza on a caloric intake threshold. They counted the calories of men, women, and children. In 2018, Palestinians marched, demanding the right of return, which is intertwined with liberation and justice, demanding an end to the siege and blockade. How did Israel respond? With some of its most sophisticated snipers gunning down over 200 Palestinians from 2018 to 2019. And OCHA did a report and said there's reasonable ground to believe that Israel targeted medics, journalists, children, and women. Bombardment after bombardment. Bombardment after bombardment with the mowing of the lawn policy. In 2008, Operation Cast Lead, over 1,400 killed. In 2012, Operation Pillar of Defense. 2014, Operation Protective Edge. Like I said, in 2018, the Great March of Return. In 2021, 2022, bombardment after bombardment, assault after assault, terrorist after terrorist attack from the Israeli terrorist state. And now we are 18 months into this brutal genocidal campaign that has claimed north of 51,000 lives, 17,000 of them are children. Over 100,000 wounded. Not a single functioning hospital exists in Gaza. And you have the nerve to claim self-defense. Media, I want to educate you on a term known as genocide. Genocide is the intentional killing of a people because of their nationality, ethnicity, religion, or race. Or it can mean creating conditions of life calculated to bring about the destruction of that people. And Gaza, we have witnessed that for 17 years, not just the last 18 months. Genocide is not a defense. You cannot claim using genocide as your defense, the slaughter of an entire civilian population with our tax money and our weapons. Weapons, bombing innocent children. That is why we have a duty in the United States. We have a civic duty to stand up to fascist Trump, to stand up for our brothers and sisters in Gaza, to stand up for black justice, to stand up for justice for all marginalized communities. I will end it with this. Sometimes small victories are unseen. We can't feel them, but please treat them as victories. And that's what gives us hope and strength. If you go to the ICC website right now, you will see in bold letters, Netanyahu wanted for war crimes and crimes against humanity. Instead of allowing him to step foot in the United States, he should be in The Hague and charged for those crimes and more. So don't give up. Remain steadfast as our brothers and sisters in Gaza remain steadfast. If they are not giving up over there, we have no reason to give up over here. With our resilience and our commitment to justice and liberation, we will have a free
That guy doesn't like Palestine. No Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA.
No Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA. No Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA. No Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA.
Amazing Chicago, it's so good to see you here. We have our next speaker. He spent the last 8 years suing the hell out of Trump, Director of Communications for the American Civil Liberties Union of Illinois. Give it up for our young man! Good afternoon, Chicago! It is so beautiful to see you all here. Let me ask you a question. Is Donald Trump your king? No! He is not my king either. And in fact, he sells us a false level of protection. He says he'll protect women while he strips away their reproductive rights. He says he'll protect our communities by ridding us of people, but he disrupts our communities by targeting migrants and newcomers and asylum seekers. He says he'll make America greater by attacking our trans brothers and sisters who simply are trying to live in a society alongside all of us. Donald Trump's protections have about as much value as a diploma from Trump University. And it is a time for each of us to stand up to this con man. Right now, the ACLU is in court fighting against Trump. In less than 100 days since Trump became president again, we have filed more than 40 lawsuits challenging his policies and his actions. And what I'm really happy to say is that we are not doing this alone. Other groups are partners in the immigration space, our partners like Lambda Legal, our partners in Democracy Forward, our partners in attorneys general's offices at the state level, all across the country are in this fight right alongside us.
El Salvador. But this is not a moment just to rely on the courts. This is not a moment to wait for Congress to act. This is not a moment to believe that someone is coming to our rescue. We are the heroes we've been waiting for. It is time to do exactly what you are doing today. To join together, to be in the streets, to speak out, to go to local meetings and make your voice heard there, to make it heard everywhere you can. Because here's the truth. A majority of Americans did not vote for Donald Trump, and they certainly did not vote for this. They did not vote to defund the major institutions of learning across the country because they happen to be where people criticize the thin-skinned president of the United States. They didn't vote to make our country healthier by stripping away the very research that finds cures for diseases. They didn't vote to make our country fairer by taking funding away through Medicaid and other means for people with disabilities and others in our society who just need a little hand getting by. And they didn't vote for shutting down people just because those people happen to disagree with the current occupant of the Oval Office. Including people like Mahmoud Khalil, including people from across the country who just have a different perspective than he does. And by the way, every time that you hear that Donald Trump is really doing all of this in the name of protecting against anti-Semitism, somebody needs to ask why he keeps having dinner with anti-Semites. This work goes on. We have to keep fighting. We have to keep looking and we have to keep looking and joining together and being together because that is the joy that we can find. We'll be in court, we'll be in the legislature, we'll be in Congress, but we need all of you in the streets. Let's go!
Let's go! We won't kiss the ring. Trump is not our king. We won't kiss the ring. Trump is not our king. We won't kiss the ring. Trump is not our king. Woo! Let's go, Chicago!
And obviously, that's a reminder of immigrants and immigration. I had the pleasure to be one of the conveners of the 2006 May Day March, where almost 1 million people marched in the streets of Chicago demanding justice for immigrants. But that was 2006, because in 2006, immigrants were the only ones under attack by the Sensenbrenner bill, which made a federal crime to be in the United States without legal papers. Today, everybody is under attack. Today, there's no one bill in Congress against immigrants and that's it. Today, there's one bill against OSHA, one against NIOSH, one against nurses, one against federal workers, one against unions, one against research, one against universities. Everybody is under attack. And that's why immigrants came up with the brilliant idea to march again on May Day, International Workers' Day. And we will be there. And you will be there. Everybody has to be there on May Day. 11 days from today, we're gonna shut down this city and 114 other cities in the United States marching on May Day. International Workers' Day is called that way because it's celebrated internationally. But I want you to think of international workers. Those are immigrants. Immigrants are nothing but international workers. People looking for jobs across a border, or 2 or 3 borders, across the sea. It doesn't matter. That's who immigrants are. Immigrants are the people who were called essentials. You remember 4 or 5 years ago, the ones who never stopped working in the fields, in the roads, processing food, bringing food to the supermarkets, keeping the supermarkets open, and in so many cases, bringing food to your door when we were working remotely, and we couldn't work remotely, and we died right there to keep feeding this country, to keep food coming up to our cities. Those are immigrants, most of them. So I'll be incredibly short. I just came from a meeting of 140 organizations who are putting their effort together to march on May Day. We are meeting at Union Park at 11 a.m. on May Day, Thursday. So that means we don't go to work. On Friday, students don't go to schools. On Saturday and Sunday, we don't buy anything. We don't buy anything. And then Cinco de Mayo, at least Mexican immigrants are going to celebrate our Cinco de Mayo. Because we won't tolerate a society that wants to celebrate Cinco de Mayo without Mexicans. No way. No way. So, Cinco de Mayo, everybody here is welcome to Cinco de Mayo with Mexicans and celebrate it with immigrants. So I hope to see you all 11 a.m. Union Park, and we will be marching all the way to Grant Park in Petrillo, the Petrillo Shell. Viva el 1 de Mayo. I'll see you all on May Day. Thank you.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. All right, folks, we're going to start marching. I need you to listen very carefully because I'm going to give you some specific instructions.
Elon, please go to therapy.